as they fight to hold on to second place.
Red Bull, with any position on the podium, would think it's a massive save for the weekend, frankly. But P2 right now is what they'd most like.
Rosberg out in front, comfortably out in front. The gap between him and Ricciardo as they cross the line, 22.8 seconds. The gap between Ricciardo and Magnussen, 7/10 of a second. He's 2/10 closer on that previous lap. 14 cars running here in Australia at the moment.
See, turn 2 is now a full corner. They're jockeying the throttle and correcting the oversteer. In previous years, it's just been easily full throttle once they knew the nose would go into the apex of turn 1.
Meanwhile, we're riding on board with Magnussen, 6th and 7th place. Hulkenberg and Bottas might be about to change as well. He's getting very, very close to Nico Hulkenberg on his way down to turn 3. I think he might just have passed the Force India as we watch the pursuits for second place under DRS. And into the marbles, there are only a few of them. There goes Valtteri Bottas. He did it in the turn 1, Martin.
The DRS helping him there, but yes, Pirelli said there'd be a lot less marbles, a lot less debris on the racetrack. I'm liking that shot.
Yeah.
Not as much as Williams like it.
Brilliant looking car and a brighter looking future for that team.
Okay, Daniel, you are doing a good job. Fuel is good. Fuel is good. You're doing a good job.
He's keeping a pace similar to the McLaren. It's just odd tenths of a second the difference in the McLaren's favour. But there's 5 laps remaining. That there's still chance here for Magnussen.
Ricciardo's very, very calm at the wheel. He's smooth with the car. And I think that'll pay dividends this year. He's not getting flustered. A little bit of an error there from Magnussen in the middle of turn 1. A little bit ragged. And Daniel's just keeping his head. Can he keep his position? Because that McLaren is looking a bit handy.
Never run in the top 2, Daniel Ricciardo, in any Formula 1 race. Currently holds second place here. Qualified so well in that Toro Rosso last year.
Okay, Kevin, let's have yellow G6 for a couple of laps. We'll save G3 for the last 2.
So don't worry about fuel and just try and get after him. But in last year's qualifying, excellent from Ricciardo, and then suffered for it in the race. Went backwards because that Toro Rosso was higher. And I think showing in a better car this year that he is one for a race on a Sunday afternoon, not just a Saturday.
Dropped JB a little bit now. He's 5.1 seconds behind his teammate Kevin Magnussen. The gap's back. Hulkenberg.
Ted, down to you.
Yeah, that just to decode the McLaren code, that means save fuel a bit. So G10 would be maximum fuel saving, and G1 would be full mix, full fuel, no fuel saving. So he said G6 is kind of halfway between that, really, isn't it? Just on the fuel saving side, and then G3 will be a better fuel mix towards the end.
Cheers, Telos.
There's more marbles there than we were expecting, though, aren't there? I mean, it would have been twice as much as that normally.
Yeah. 14 cars running, that's probably twice as many as some thought would be running. And Max Chilton running in 14th, 2 laps down, but on course to make it 20 races out of 20 that he's finished in Formula 1.
Bianchi's still running, so there's still actually 15 out there, but he's lost a lot of laps. I think he's still out there doing sector times, is he not?
Yeah, no, he is. You're right. He's 8 laps down, isn't he? Jules Bianchi.
15 runners. That's about 5 more than I was expecting at this stage.
Children, that 14th place, that might come in handy.
Okay, Daniel, we need to keep up the pace. Magnussen is saving fuel. He will try again later. Keep up the pace. Pull away from him.
Come in handy, a 14th for Marussia at the end of the season in their battle with Caterham to finish in the top 10 of the constructors. Magnussen's just dropped off a bit here, isn't he? You can see it with the naked eye.
Yeah. Their sector times are pretty damn close, though. So I don't know if he's made a mistake in there somewhere.
On this lap, he's saved a bit of fuel on the previous lap, and now he's able to go for it again. The only man that keeps increasing his advantage lap after lap after lap is Nico Rosberg. No one able to get anywhere near him. he needed his teammate running in the race.
We're going to need more information up on screen in future races. We need to know more about what they're doing out there with those cars. When I say we, I mean we in the commentary box and you guys at home. Thanks for joining us, and hello to all the people around the world who are watching this. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been interesting and fascinating, hasn't it, in terms of trying to decode what they're up to.
We can see what is happening here. Kimi Räikkönen getting past Jean-Eric Vergne. Just went in too deep into the corner. And Vergne has now lost 7th and 8th place, and running just ahead of his teammate Danny Kvyat.
He's only 7/10 ahead of him.
Okay, Kevin, yellow G3, 3 laps to go.
Bingo, let's go for it.
Triple whammy if he could do it from here. 2 seconds behind. The crowds here, the crowds have been great here at Albert Park all weekend long. They are just going to have the biggest Sunday night party in Melbourne if Daniel Ricciardo can put an Australian on the podium.
11 miles to go, 16 kilometres. And Ricciardo still looking very unflustered about all this.
What do you have before? 4 Australian drivers finishing on the podium. 5 have made it on the podium, because didn't Mark Webber get dragged up there once by Paul Stoddart
yes,
in the Minardi? Look at the support he's getting. 2002 it was, when Webber was the Minardi man on that podium.
2 to go, Rosberg leads by 24 seconds. And Ricciardo 2.1 ahead of Magnussen now. Jenson Button closing a little bit to 4.4 seconds. And the biggest fight through there now is Kvyat, right behind his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne for 9th and 10th, the last 2 points paying positions.
Toro Rosso might tell them to hold station a bit on that one. They're handy points for Toro Rosso. Another team that have been thrilled by their weekend from Saturday into Sunday.
They're all starting to do personal best now as they get all carefree about their fuel. And
with the engine slightly quieter this year, I just wonder if Ricciardo can sense the cheers that he's getting from this Australian crowd, if he can maybe hear some of the roars from the grandstand as they get louder and louder as he comes past in 2nd place, lap by lap. What is happening in the cockpit of Nico Rosberg as he now begins his final lap of this race? Started 3rd, currently out in the lead of this Grand Prix. He's got 3.3 miles to hold his breath, keep it together before opening up the season with a victory. And what a huge, commanding victory it has been.
But as you pointed out, they don't lead the Constructors' Championship, with McLaren sitting there in 3rd and 4th.
And they will be delighted with that 3rd and 4th, I'm sure. Last lap, 1.7 seconds, the gap between Ricciardo and Magnussen for 2nd and 3rd. Jenson Button's close to within 5 seconds of Magnussen. He's keeping ahead of Alonso, even though Alonso's finishing a lot stronger in this race than Jenson Button is. Valtteri Bottas a little bit further back, nearly 12 seconds or so in 6th place, and it's Hülkenberg, Räikkönen, Vergne and Kvyat, the top 10.
These tyres have hung on well, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think they could do 2 races on these, let alone 2 stints.
Well, they've reported that they've been going off a bit, but they've been able to drive through it. Never had the best of luck, has he, Nico Rosberg? With the Australian Grand Prix, not made the checkered flag in 2 of the last 3 races here, hasn't scored since 2010. But the man who completed the most mileage of any driver in pre-season testing looks like he's going to complete the fastest time overall in the first race of the season. They came into the race as championship favourites. It's Nico Rosberg who's going to confirm that favouritism, and he comes home to win the Australian Grand Prix for Mercedes, their 100th Mercedes-powered victory in the Formula One World Championship. Rosberg takes the season opener by a long, long way. Roars of appreciation for Rosberg. They are going to be drowned out, though, by this young man from Perth. It's Daniel Ricciardo for Australia, for Red Bull, comes home to take 2nd place. It's Kevin Magnussen, the first Danish driver to fit Formula One podium. It's Jenson Button who takes 4th for McLaren. It's Fernando